Hey guys, my name is Kevin Bowen, and I'm back with another video blog for this week. I did one earlier in the month, and kind of with finals and everything in the holiday season. I've been a little busy, but I thought I'd come back with another blog and talk this week about the four major teams in Indiana: Butler, Notre Dame, Purdue, and IU, and how their season's going right now as we get into conference play that started last week and will continue for the rest of the season. First, talk about Butler. Butler right now come off a tough loss at Wisconsin-Milwaukee on Monday night, lost by 24. They're going to tip here in about an hour against Cleveland State at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and that's a huge game for Butler. They can really, in my opinion, I think they can only afford about 2 or 3 more losses, and probably 2 at the most in the regular season if they want to get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Joe Lunardi just came out with his first bracketology that he's had since about December, and he had Butler as a 7 seed, which makes me think there's some room for error. They can lose a couple games here, but they got a big stretch coming up. They got Cleveland State tonight. They got Youngstown State, who's probably the worst team in the Horizon League, on Sunday, but then they go to Wright State and to Detroit next week. So those are 2 very tough games, 2 teams that will definitely challenge for the regular season title and probably even the conference tournament. So Butler needs to kind of regroup. They let Wisconsin-Milwaukee shoot very well from 3, and they weren't tough enough. Brad Stevens called his team out, said they weren't tough enough, said it was the softest team that he's ever seen. And so Butler's got a big game tonight at Hinkle Fieldhouse here in about an hour. So Butler needs to get it back together, and I think they will. Going up north, Notre Dame, probably the most impressive team here in the early going, that not a lot of people thought would be a top 15 team. They lost Luke Herringody, Torrey Jackson, Jonathan Peoples, who Jackson and Herringody were 2 4-year starters. That class was the winningest class in Notre Dame history, but they got 5 senior starters. 3 of them can come back next year for a 5th year, but you still have 5 guys that have been on a college campus for at least 4 years, and that's obviously huge. Ben Hansbrough, Scott Martin, 2 transfers. Obviously Ben Hansbrough, the younger brother of Indiana Pacer forward Tyler, and then Scott Martin, the Purdue transfer. Both have played great. Ben's kind of a hard-nosed guy. He's really the only guard in the lineup. Notre Dame starts 4 other 6'8" players with Hansbrough, but he's been great for him. And he's going to be a key down the stretch because Carlton Scott is out the rest of the month of January with a slight tear in his hamstring, and he had been playing very well for Notre Dame in the early going. Right now with only 2 losses, at Kentucky, at Syracuse, so they're only 2 losses. They got about 5, I would call, quality wins. They won the Old Spice Classic down in Orlando, beat Wisconsin on a neutral floor, beat Georgia on a neutral floor, beat Gonzaga at home, and then they've started off the Big East 2-1, beating UConn and Georgetown. But the Big East Conference, arguably the best conference in college basketball, I'd say right up there with the Big Ten. They got a tough stretch coming up. They play St. John's tomorrow night, and then a week later they'll play St. John's in Madison Square Garden, who's right now leading the conference at 3-0. So no off nights in that conference, just like the Big Ten. And for the Irish right now, Lunardi had them as a 3 seed against Kansas State, who's a 6 seed, which obviously would be a very interesting second-round matchup if that happened to Kansas State, a team that was picked top 5, top 10 by a lot of college basketball writers out there. But Notre Dame so far, great start of the season. I fully expect them to be about a top 5 or 6 seed in the tournament. Going now to Purdue. Purdue only one loss on the year to Richmond, but then again they haven't beaten anybody. I wrote an article on this last week. They obviously have a favorable Big Ten schedule in terms of, I don't believe they play a ranked team until they got Michigan State and Ohio State coming up on back-to-back games here in about a week or 2. So it's nice for Purdue. Guys like Ryan Smith, Lewis Jackson had great games out in Happy Valley the other night, and when E'Twaun Moore scores 4 points and you still win by double figures on the road in the Big Ten, that's huge for Painter and huge for that team. Juwan Johnson and E'Twaun have been everything that people thought they would be. Both are on just about everybody's mid-season All-American teams, and for Purdue, it's finding that third scorer. John Hart is still going to be out the rest of the month, so if guys like Smith, DJ Bird, Lewis Jackson's mostly known for his defense, but if they can just hit some open shots, average anywhere from about 8 to 12 a game, that'll be huge for Purdue. This is a team that I could see losing on the first weekend of the tournament, and then with the right draw and with Johnson staying out of foul trouble, they can make a run to Houston and be playing the Final Four. So it's a very interesting team. The big thing for Purdue right now is they're probably that second best team, I would say, in the Big Ten behind Ohio State. I think Michigan State and Illinois and even Minnesota maybe has more talent than Purdue overall when you look at the about top 8, top 9 guys in those teams. But Purdue knows how to play. They play great defense, and right now I think they're most likely to challenge Ohio State at the top of that conference. And then down to Bloomington, IU. Tom Crean in his third year. This was the year that people thought, get back to the postseason, whether it's the NIT or the CBI, just do something to make some progress on the court. Off the court, obviously, it's been great. Recruiting-wise, he's got probably the number 1 class in the nation. 2012, he got Cody Zeller to commit for next fall. 2013, 2014, he's got the best players in the state of Indiana already committed to him. So that's been nice. But on the court, it's the same old, same old. IU showing flashes for 20, 25 minutes a game, but not being able to close games out. The loss to Penn State is inexcusable at home. Penn State was missing Teron Bowie, who's probably their 4th or 5th best player. And to think that, he's not Taylor Battle or Jeff Brooks, but it's still a loss. And for them to come in there and pretty much, they handled the whole game. I mean, they were in control of that game the whole way. IU could never really get it down to where they're in striking distance. And that's a problem going forward. When is IU going to win that next Big Ten game? Terry Hutchins wrote that in the Indy Star today. Is it going to be at Northwestern on Sunday? Probably not. They gave Michigan State all they could handle the other night. Is it going to be against Michigan at home next Saturday? Maybe. They got at Iowa on the 23rd, but again, we saw Ohio State struggle out there and at Iowa the other night. So for IU, it's Christian Watford played great in the early going. He hasn't stepped up. Maurice Creek still not fully healed from that knee injury, and Verdell Jones and Tom Pritchard have regressed since their freshman year. And I think when IU fans look back on this season, they're going to look at the Las Vegas tournament, the losses to Northern Iowa and Colorado, 2 teams that will not make the NCAA tournament, will be on the bubble to make the NIT or any type of postseason play. IU needed to go out there and win those games, at least get a split, because right now they're riding a 5-game losing streak, and frankly, I don't know when that next win's going to come. So for now, this is Kevin Bowen signing off. Hopefully, now that school's starting back up, I'll be able to do one every Friday. And if you guys have any comments, feel free to put it on the website. Have a good one. Bye.